So what was super exciting about that experience is the last day of the class, it was a 6-week Saturday class. The last week, she'd asked me to send her an email with the text, and I said, oh, sure, I'll give it to you. She said, I want to have it. On the last day of the workshop, she says, Mister, I have something for you. And I said, okay. She said, but you have to sit down. And I said, okay. So I sat down, and she gets up, and she says, my existence does not rely on one language to tell its story. And she recited the whole thing by memory to me. And so now she says anytime that she has to use it, she'll just pull it out of her memory and tell somebody what she's thinking. So my wife and I travel a lot. And one place we go often is the border town, Ciudad Juarez. That's where her family's from. So we return probably 3-4 times a year for different amounts of time. And we've been going for years. And as time sort of kind of progresses, the situation seems to get a little bit more and more difficult every time we go. And I think this is the case in a lot of places around the world. And so we go, and it's this sort of bittersweet thing where she gets to see her family, but also it's a reminder of what her mom decided to leave, 14 years ago. And so I think in my working with unaccompanied refugee minors, there's this affinity they have for where they come from, but this conflict about their reason for leaving and being here now. So this poem kind of talks about the humanness of that struggle that people have with their homeland and things that aren't going very well, but the desire and the need to reconnect in some way. Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, has been named the most dangerous place in the world outside of declared war zones. They used to at least wait for moonlight. Now car bombs ignite the morning sky like sunrise. The dust has no time to settle between blasts. Semi-automatic weapons scream in thunderclap, raining across the desert. The Virgin Mary's inbox is full. Missing persons flyers wallpaper graffiti the metropolis's skin, the local newspaper, a picture book obituary the locals often mistake for a mirror. Militarization lingers as fear does. College students don't cross the border for cheap tequila shots anymore. Tourist markets stand as graveyards do. Help is a dead-end road when the officials are as crooked as the question marks at the end of the people's whys and whens. Why is this happening? When will it end? Gone are the days these killing fields harvested only young women. In this drug turf war, everyone is considered a cash crop. Right now, somewhere in the shadows of La Santa Muerte's protection, the Sinaloan and Juarez cartels dance to narco corridos glorifying their names. The line between entertainment and reality is as blurred as the one separating the drug lords' territories. Ciudad Juarez is being held hostage. Social order has been bound and gagged. Civil liberties have been held for ransom, believe it or not. This is where I chose to ask my wife to marry me. True story. Bent on one knee like a local crippled by economic crisis, I asked her to spend forever with me in a place tomorrow is never promised. It is from those streets she came to me. Childhood memories flutter butterfly beautiful in her heart. She remembers the peace of her grandmother's hands, grinding maize, shaping tortillas, and the woman she's become. Time she awoke to the rooster's cry and not the people's, when the streets were silent enough to whisper Hail Marys with the curandera who coached her catechism, back when people still prayed to God and not fear. She remembers better times when the streetlights were an extension of sun rays, not warning signals to run inside. But now, nightfall is a black hole that even the most innocent stars get sucked into. She remembers better times. But today, our visits are more house arrest than homecoming. There's nothing generous about being confined in worry, nothing humane about children being comfortable with cadavers. Ciudad Juarez and so many other places around the world, you are and are not as bad as they say you are. I see your spirit in your children whose steps are still too light to grasp the gravity of their surroundings. There are better tomorrows blooming underneath your rubble. Hold on. The dust will settle eventually, and the devils responsible for your demise will burn in hell. Don't let your chipped teeth stop you from smiling. Destruction is always the first step in rebuilding. Goodwill will be your bricks. Love your mortar. Never forget that your heart's chambers will always be bigger than their guns. So this last piece I'm going to do is a it's a poem about the invisible workforce. You know, when we talk about immigrants, we're talking about these folks who aren't seen necessarily, and the contributions that they make to our society kind of go unnoticed. And one night, I like to draw inspiration from common, situations and interactions with people. And one night I was working late. Sometimes as social workers, we work late and stuff like that. And I had a run-in with one of the women who works in the evenings. And we had a conversation. And this poem is about that. This is for Angela. I want to thank everybody for inviting me here today and sharing this poetry with you. And I am very excited to be able to be in this space with so many people that are doing good work. For Angela. She begins her workday when the rest of us unloosen the tie and fight rush hour traffic on our way home. Starts late enough to calentar tortillas y frijoles para sus hijos en casa, then leaves the oldest in charge to tuck her babies in at bedtime, see the evening shift. It pays just a little bit better, and these days, well, every penny counts. She is bruised from pinching, sore from stretching dollar bills into small miracles. Her magic makes Jesus look like a common man. She daydreams of sleep, contemplates how she's supposed to make paper when they tell her she needs papers, but she doesn't complain. Partly because she's afraid to, but mostly because she was taught not to. She wears pride like Prada. There are evenings when the unmanageability of my social worker workload get the best of me. Sometimes it's procrastination that keeps me in the office longer than I'd like to be. En estas noches calladas, our paths cross. The way distant relatives run into each other after time has clouded familiarity, we too share an invisible relationship. She is gravity. A necessary force unseen, keeping the galaxy in order, taken advantage of. An urban legend to most, a story tucked away in the blindness of selfish entitlements, but she leaves us the braille of clean workspaces every evening. Work is sewn into her smile. Her hands remain covered to keep chemicals from dehydrating her skin, and I can't help but wonder, are her nails pretty? You hear tarde, no? Lots of work? She asks in a broken accent that screams, I am trying. Le contesto, sí, mucho trabajo. Her eyes illuminate like the candle she lights every morning to the image of la Virgen of Guadalupe. Hablas español. Soy Angela. I'm the janitor. Bobby, I reply. Now she's old enough to be my mother, which means wise enough to know that I have questions, but she has work to do. And so do I. But we shoot the breeze anyway. She tells me stories of her beloved Mexico. I tell her about my first time visiting. She shows me emotional scars left from the beast of barbed wire bites. Thanks God she's at one of thousands of the makeshift crosses left stranded in a desert, desecrated by Minutemen. She says that I'm the first to converse with her. Says most act as though she isn't even visible. I tell her that to most she isn't, but I see her. And I tell her she's appreciated. I remind her that it's nightfall that turns the stars in their brilliance. The cook that makes the restaurant's reputation and the landscaper that brings out the life in tulips, the immigrants that built this nation. She breaks her back so that her children will one day sprout wings. May they fly high above walls being constructed to destroy bridges being built between despair and dreams. May they see you, Angela, in your child's college degree and the smiles of the babies you raise for them. May they grow compassion in the gardens you tend to. May they see you for who you are, respect you for who you are. May they see you, Angela. I just want them to see you. Thank you.